All right, hello, welcome to my studio apartment. Tonight I'm just gonna be yapping about something that has been bugging me, okay? All over the internet, I've been seeing people talking about decentering men, right? I've seen people talking about not wanting to be Muslim anymore, leaving Islam, all that jazz. I've seen people talking about decentering their community, their ethnic communities, all of this, all of that. I've seen people becoming enlightened feminists, right? I've seen people opening their third eye and like connecting to the chakras in the alternate realm beside us and all types of shit, right? But the one topic I have not seen people talk about is the relationships between mothers and daughters, and how if you do not decenter your mother, you will lose your fucking life. You will actually lose your life. And I am not talking about abusive mothers on paper, just like on paper. I'm not talking about narcissistic mothers on paper. And that paper is an ethnic paper. And that ethnic paper has Islam built into it as its background, as its foundation, okay? On that ethnic paper, foundation being, okay, an Islamic culture. I'm not talking about a narcissistic mother. I'm not talking about an abusive mother. I'm not talking about the bitch that you hate if you hate your mother. I'm talking about the mother that we all love and care for. I'm talking about the miskin mother, the religious mother, the business-minded mother. I'm talking about the kind, open-minded mother, the friendly mother, the stressed out, exhausted mother. I'm talking about the mothers that we all make sappy posts about on Mother's Day. I'm not talking about anybody abusive on paper. You know what I mean? Like half of the things ethnic parents be doing technically is abusive, but it's so ethnic that it's like, I wouldn't wake up, so my mom dumped water on me. And so I got used to having water dumped on me if I didn't wake up. But that's such an ethnic thing that like, is that abuse? You know what I mean? Like, how many mothers have threatened us to put bisbas, hot sauce? You know, my mom has never done that shit, but she has threatened it. Technically, that's abuse. Like, but in my mind, like that's just so ethnic, it's no longer abuse. Like it's entered the ethnic realm. Therefore, it's a Venn diagram to like, not a Venn diagram, but like it goes right back into being like regular parenting. It's too ethnic that like, y'all get it. Anyways, why would a white bitch be watching my video? Like, if you are, well, comment down below. Like, I need to know. No shade. But I will not be talking about just classically crazy ass mothers. I'm talking about lovely, sweet mothers. So let's get right into the video. The reason why I wanted to talk about this topic is because I am around very capable, very intelligent young Muslim women. Okay, I go to university. I am in a field that I went to school for and that I studied for. I'm around very capable individuals, and the one thing I've noticed, okay, amongst all of them, is that they're very inexperienced and they don't really have much of a life outside of their mothers. Okay, whether they have like a secret double life or not, a lot of these girls worry and stress about the opinions or the feelings that their mothers are going to have about their life choices, leading them to not live lives that they want. Let me give you the first example. And this is a story from my childhood. When I was growing up, there was particularly, I think 2 or 3 girls, I have a really bad memory, but 2 or 3 girls my mom would always talk about. And she would rave about them being the gold star Somali daughters, right? They were in college. At the time, they were 21, 22, 23. I really don't know. But basically, I was 11, 12, 13, right? And I would always hear my mom talking about how those daughters helped their mom clean the house. They helped them raise their 8 younger siblings, right? They sent their mother to the Hajj multiple times. Okay? Keep in mind, this whole time, I'm not hearing that these girls are going on trips, enjoying their youth, traveling, having fun with their money. And anytime I would see them, they would look low-key raggedy, okay? They would look like nothing special. And we're talking about the late 2010s. They had extra money. The economy was great. I'm talking these girls could have looked hella tea, like no shade. Like if I got transported back in time, I would eat the fuck down. I'm talking, that was the golden era of thick-ass, healthy bundles. I'm talking bundles this thick. Right? Not these like plastic Shia shit that we got going on nowadays. Like I'm talking amazing makeup, cheap $600 apartments. I remember when I was younger, I used to go on Zillow and apartments.com, and I used to see 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, new build apartments for $650. Right. Okay, moving on. And I would, always hear my mom talking about how like well accomplished they are, and what she means by that is how much they have helped their mother raise the 8 children. And then I would also hear my mom talking about, she's pregnant again, talking about the mother, she's pregnant again, like, oh wow, this is like the 10th child, the 11th child. And then I would always think about like, damn, that bitch don't raise her children. Her daughters raise her children. Why is she having kids if she's not raising them? Anyways, speeding up the storyline, once that lady had like 1.5 billion kids, she packed their asses up and she sent them back to Kenya, and she went right back with them. And you might be thinking, who's in America providing for them, right? The father literally just did whatever he wanted. Like I never really heard anything about the father. I would only ever hear about the daughters working as much as possible. Wasn't doing anything. But the people that I have heard that were billing her, which in Somali means basically sending money and maintaining the lifestyle that she had in Kenya with all those 8 children, were her 2 daughters. Like her 2 daughters basically sent her all the money, right? They helped her pay for the kids, pay for the childcare, pay for all this and that. And then as I got older, I started hearing less and less and less about these two girls. And then a few years back, tell me why I bumped into these girls and they look burnt up and ate up. Burnt up, chewed up, and ate up. And it's like, damn, we're 10 to 15 years out. Well, not that long actually. Yeah, we're 10 years out, baby girl. I almost aged the fuck out of myself. We're 10 years out from that time. And I'm looking at these girls and it's like, y'all have not been out the country, okay? You guys never really lived alone, right? If you did live alone, it was in the apartment your mom had, but you were still paying all the bills for your mother. At this point, those two girls had raised all of those siblings, all of those younger children up with their mother, right? And now they're in their mid to late, like 30s, and I bump into them and it's like, God damn, you guys were intelligent, driven, beautiful, organized, and obviously capable individuals. You guys were not like Bakhtial, you guys were not lazy, you guys were not like hopeless individuals, you guys were heavily capable people. And you spent, or those girls spent, half of their late teens, or like all of their late teens, all of their early 20s, mid 20s, and late 20s, supporting and providing for a family that they did not lay on their back and get fucked for. They spent their prime working years feeding children that they did not voluntarily get fucked for in birth. And this is definitely gonna get me canceled. Like, talking about this topic is most definitely gonna get me canceled. Your mother, who's consistently fucking with no birth control, right? Praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to provide while expecting you to go out there and earn an income. In my opinion, I'm actually not gonna say that. I was gonna be really rude. I was gonna call your mother a nasty hoe. No shade though. Like, please do not tag me. I'm just calling out the obvious. Your mother, who is consistently having child after child after child after child, expecting you to help her, is somebody who is using you to patch up her poor life decisions. She's like, what? I'm filming a video.
Okay, I was just gonna call. If you need help with any UTs or to talk about anything, come.
Why? I'm filming a video.
Okay. Bye.
Girl, why does my sister think I have a UT? And that does not mean a UTI. A UT. That's something that is within our vocabulary. Do I have a UT? Let me think. UT. I don't have a UT, so why the fuck would she call me about a UT? Which means I have a UT, I'm just not conscious of it. I'm not conscious of it. There's a UT about. There's an unclaimed, unlocated UT about. Anyways, the one common trait that this, archetype of mother all have in common is that they're very hyper religious. Like I said, they don't believe in birth control. For some reason, they believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides them everything in the universe. But then whenever it comes to everything in the universe being provided for them, they expect that of their young daughters, okay? They expect that of their 22-year-old daughter that's currently in college, that, has grown up as a first-generation immigrant and who most likely has an undiagnosed anxiety disorder, to help her raise her 17 children, 2 of which have autism. Like, I'm not kidding. I have seen this dynamic so often that, like, it has brought me back onto the internet after like a 2 to 3 year break because I'm mad. I'm sick and tired of sitting next to girls in the programs that I'm in, the colleges that I go to or that I have gone to, and then hearing their life stories about, hey, I have to go home and help my mom go back to school shopping with my motherfucking check for her kids. I have to help my mom make dinner for her 7 young children, like most of which are in elementary school. Keep in mind, I'm in college. I have been around girls that have had 3, 4, 5 brothers who do nothing, who have a brother that doesn't work, doesn't clean, doesn't contribute to the family, yet they get their ass up every day to bring back a check, to pay the bills and pay for food and pay for this and pay for that. And anyways, moving on to my next point, a lot of ethnic parents act like them deciding to fuck and reproduce is somehow the child's responsibility. Okay? A lot of these parents like to act like you owe them for the fact that they decided to fuck unprotected. And a lot of these parents rely on children never truly calling them out, okay? Never truly using the proper words to describe what their parents expect of them because they decided to fuck unprotected. You're supposed to constantly tiptoe around the fact that birth control has been around for like 60 plus fucking years, and your ethnic parents are not stupid. They're not stupid, okay? They're not special. They don't need constant care. They don't need constant supervision. They know exactly what they're doing, and they know how biology works. And you're not responsible for the fact that they decided to bring you onto the planet. But a lot of these parents like to make their children responsible for something that they voluntarily chose to do. Like, fuck. Anyways, I don't owe my parents for having me. They owe me for having me, truthfully. And that's kind of the relationship that I've always had with my parents. Like, trust me, it's only ever been mainly one-sided, that side being I get, I receive. Thankfully, it's why I'm so opinionated. By the way, I discussed this entire YouTube video with my mother and she completely co-signed on it. She literally said the women that have multiple children and who expect their children to raise their children with them are bakhtiyal. My mom has only ever had 3 children. Clock that. I know that's right. I'm literally the middle child. Period. Moving on, another archetype of mother that really restricts their children is the maskeen, anxious, never really fully in control mother, okay? The mother that probably gets bossed around her house by a very demanding man, the mother that you feel pity for, right? The mother that has so much responsibility on her shoulder, the mother that, you know, irregardless of her life situation, somehow managed to still pop out 6 children. Like, no matter what archetype I talk about, on average, all these mothers have multiple children, like 4+ kids, okay? And this helpless mother is not one that deliberately takes advantage of her kids, but is a mother that is very thankful that you know, her kids grew up for her and like her kids can help her and her kids can become a garab that she can lean on. Garab just means shoulder that she can lean on. And that this is the exact person that she's made dua for. Like her daughter went to school and her daughter's now a nurse, a registered nurse, and now her daughter's gonna buy her a house. Not just her, but her 11 younger siblings are also gonna move into this house, okay? And somehow out of, you know, this mom's struggle, misery-inducing life, this beautiful flower has erupted, that beautiful flower being you, right? That beautiful flower now, you know, bringing her a lot of hadiths and like, oh my God, you're like now the, you know, apple of her eye. You're everything she's ever made dua for. Keep in mind, her maskeen nimo, right? Her like weakness and like codependence with you then leads you to like putting check after 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 check into her fucking hands, leading you to not really be a fully developed individual because you do not have the financial autonomy to make life choices, to travel, to move to a different state, to travel the world, like to do all the things that you have worked hard for, okay? Anyway, so that's the second archetype of mother. The third archetype of mother is the type of mother that, let's just say she takes care of all her kids, right? She also has a business. She also makes her own money. Okay? Right? She raised you. She doesn't need your money. It is what it is. But her fearful perspective and view on life literally breaks your spirit as a child who's developing and growing beneath her. Her constant fear and welwel literally pollutes the house, okay? And this welwel it's something I can excuse, right? If I was an immigrant, right? And I had young children and I lived in a foreign land and I didn't speak the language and somehow I'm making it by and I'm still taking care of my children and I'm being, to some degree, a better mother than most, it's only reasonable then to worry about my children heavily, right? Okay, it's only fair that I worry about my children, but that worry seeps into a lot of girls that I know lives. It really does seep into the pores, down to their fucking core. Some girls don't travel because their mom is worried about them traveling. Some girls don't really get to experience the experiences that they want to experience because of their mom's welwel. Also, there is a demographic or a type of Somali mom that is constantly fucking yelling. You wake up, Hoyat is yelling about something. Keep in mind, your family's happy, the house is clean, your siblings and y'all are getting along, the bills are paid. But for some reason, this type of Somali mom wakes up screaming at the top of her fucking lungs. I know some girls that like at any point in time, if you call them, they're complaining that their mother is yelling. Girl, I want to get out of the house, my mom's being aggravating. Girl, I want to leave, my mother's being aggravating. Girl, tell me why my mom is mad at this and this and this. Girl, tell me why my mom is calling me. You can be out with this type of girl, right? You can be out and about with this type of girl. And within 30 minutes, this mom is calling for a prescription to be picked up, a younger sibling to be picked up. A constant just book and anxiety, and it literally consumes the lives of young Muslim girls. If you have a Somali mother that is constantly fucking on edge to the point where it's like, bro, you should be happy, we should be happy. I literally just woke up. I'm pouring myself a bowl of cereal. Why are you in a tense, anxious mood? You're never gonna seek help for it. You're never gonna go to the doctor. You're never gonna go to a therapist. The most you'll ever do is probably pray extra prayers, and then you're gonna spiral into this anxiety spiral, this like death spiral of doom and despair, and then that is gonna seep throughout the whole family, and then everybody in the family is now anxious and worried and on edge. So that's a whole different type of mother. Another type of mother, and this is, I would say, the most pervasive type of mother, okay? If you're South Asian, if you're, Sub-Saharan African, if you're North African, if you're Middle Eastern, if you're from the Balkan area, it doesn't matter. The most pervasive type of Muslim mother is a mother that never expects her daughter to branch out except for when that daughter is getting married. A lot of these mothers do not see how they're taking advantage of the labor and effort that their daughters contribute to the family, because in their opinion, it is their God-given right to use your labor up until the day that you get married. Your labor is like something that floats in the atmosphere for them to just pluck out and use as they see fit up until the day you get married. As long as you live in their home, your effort, your money, your savings, your hood, your strength, your education, your degrees, your income is and forever will be your mom's property. Up until the day that you become an adult and branch out, leaving the nest, only, keep in mind, only if you get married. A lot of these mothers do not see their daughters as like fully grown, individuated individuals. You are but a child, even if you're 28. Like right motherfucking now, I know that there is a 27-year-old that has probably a master's degree that, you know, has a great paying job. Let's just say she's in healthcare, she's a lawyer, I don't know, okay. This girl has worked very hard, has made her money, and she is very pious and very kind and very organized, and she's lived a very cookie cutter life, and she's always been a dutiful daughter, right? She lives at home, she's paying the bills, she's helping with her 7 younger siblings, and she has never left her fucking state, like ever. If she has, it's like to visit family with family. She doesn't wear the clothes that she wants to wear. Also, the saddest thing is, she doesn't have anything of her own. Everything gets used up by her siblings. At a certain age, if you still live at home, it is like the biggest indicator of you having nothing to yourself. Like, you don't get to have nice makeup. Why? Because you have 4 younger sisters. You don't get to have nice hair products. Why? Because you have 3 younger brothers that all have curly hair and who have no money and who buy, you know, who don't invest in hair products at all. Your nice hair products all get used up. Your nice Redken shampoo and conditioner are gone within like 3 days. Your bum-ass older brother literally does nothing. If you guys need, let's just say, a pasta strainer, guess who has to buy it? You. If you need lotion in the house because your lotion got used up by your family members, guess who has to go out there and buy another one just for everyone to go ahead and use it? When it comes to your clothes, nothing ever is truly yours, even though you are college educated, a very capable individual, you make a great income, but somehow you have been saddled with the responsibility of providing for like 7 people that are younger than you and your mother and all the emotional labor and assistance that she needs. And being around girls like this like fills me with such rage because I am a deeply selfish individual. In my world philosophy, I rank above my mother simply because in order to be a good child, I have to be happy within myself. I can never be a good child not doing what I want to do. I don't even know how that's possible. How does the grief of losing the life that you want not fully consume you to the point where you just literally blow up in front of your family? Anyways, I just wanted to talk about how a lot of you girls are losing your youth. A lot of you girls are losing your beauty. A lot of you girls are especially losing your prime income earning years. Right now, I have a 401k plan. I have a HSA, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I have a bunch of different portfolios for my future, for my investment, and I am working on maxing them out because when I'm older, I'm not gonna rely on my 6, 7, 8, 9 children to provide me a life that I could have provided for my fucking self. Okay? Also, another thing that I'm gonna add to this is that if you are raising your 6, 7 younger siblings that are younger than you, I just want you to know you're gonna get nothing in the future. In 10 years time, when you wake up as a 35-year-old woman and your 10-year-old sister right now is, wait, let me do the math because I'm really dumb. 10 years plus 10 is 20, right? Like that. All right, so your 20-year-old sister, well, how old would you be in 10 years time? I don't give a fuck. Make the math work in your head, bitch. I'm talking about y'all. Y'all gonna make the math work. Basically, you're gonna wake up as a 35-year-old woman, right? And your sister that is now 10 is gonna be 20. Her skin is gonna be clear. Her ass is gonna be fat. Her stomach is gonna be small. Her skin is gonna be plump, and she's gonna be in university. And she's not gonna thank you or, you know, lugar ko matakaiso. Or you know what I mean? She's not gonna pay you back and wash your feet. Okay, I'm filming the rest on my phone. Basically, your little sister is not gonna wash your feet. She's not gonna pay you back. You're not gonna get anything back from the siblings that you're raising. All of those like children that you were changing diapers for, giving bottles to, and rocking back to sleep in 10 to 15 years time will literally only think of you as the annoying, aggravating sister that's constantly in their fucking business and who thinks that they're their mother. You will be a footnote in their lives that they're gonna live. They're gonna have their entire youth ahead of them, and thankfully, because you did the grunt work of providing and being a pseudo baby daddy to your mother for, you know, they will be able to keep their money and build and experience life experiences that you never even quite dreamt of, okay? Also, social rules are changing fucking fast. Naya, you're still adhering to social rules from 10 to 15 years ago. Trust me, your 11-year-old sister is not gonna get her ass up in 10 to 12 years time and think to herself, I have to kiss the bottom of my mother's feet, aka, actually, it's okay to kiss your mom's feet, but that little girl is not gonna decide to be an indentured slave to her mother, okay? She's not gonna spend her life regulating and providing for your mother, like you have. And you're gonna find yourself as a washed up 35-year-old. Like, I don't even want to be offensive, but the amount of washed up good girls that I have seen, I'm talking washed up, and in no ways am I trying to be colorist. I'm not being colorist, but the best way I would describe these women is wahgubtay. Like, they look like they are fucking fried. They look like they are burnt up. I'm not trying to be colorist, okay? They just look like they were chewed up and spit out. I'm talking their hands are rough, their feet are rough. They look 5 to 7 years older than they should be. And keep in mind, these are the gabro that are highly accomplished, college educated. If they're not very hardworking, I'm talking putting 10 to 12-hour shifts at Amazon, bringing that check back home to Hoyo so she can feed Abdi Fatah, Abdi Karim, Abdi Ali, Abdi 15,000 children. Your mom, again, voluntarily laid on her back to fuck and half. Like, bro, anytime I see a mother with 13,000 children and I see one daughter busting her ass, I already know the mother truthfully is a bakhtiya to her core. Like, deep down in her heart, I could look in it and I could see a pussy ass hoe in there. Like, I really could, and I wish I could fight all of them. I know you love your mother, but drop the at so I could beat her ass for you. Cause like, that's not right. Well, that's not right. Somebody has to talk about this shit. Like, I wish I could open up a clinic and just forcibly put IUDs in all these habayaro, like IUDs left and right. I don't give a fuck if it gets lodged incorrectly. I really don't, cause as long as a baby ain't getting lodged up in that uterus, clear to set, like, no shade. Another thing I'm gonna add is, I'm kind of liking this angle, like, no shade. Another thing I'm gonna add is that, you are not brought on this earth to be a servant to your parents. You are brought on this earth to be kind to your parents. You are not brought onto this earth to be a servant. A servant. A literal servant. You are allowed to have your own money. You are allowed to have boundaries with your money. You are allowed to have future plans and savings for yourself. And do not allow women who never got to experience adulthood unmarried rob you of your single prime earning years because they're expecting your adulthood to start after your marriage. There are a lot of grown-ass women, I'm talking mid to late 20s women, that are treated like children simply because they don't have a man or they're not married. Treated like literal infants because some man isn't actively sticking their dick, like stuff for a lot of like okay, they don't have a man in their life. Do not be punked out of your paycheck. Do not be punked out of your youth. Do not be punked out of your potential and out of the dreams and hopes you have for yourself because you are treated like a child because you don't have a man or that you're not married. You are a fucking adult. I wake up every day doing whatever I want because this is my life. I am the captain. Okay? I am the captain now. And this is something my parents have always been well aware of. I've spent my money however I've liked. I live on my own now. I literally spend all my checks on myself because if I can work, my parents can work. And I fully believe that. Why? Because I will not lose my youth and my prime earning years and my prime investing years to pay back somebody for a life that they have lost or a life that they have not lived. It's my turn. A lot of people from the older generations actively stand in the way of younger people achieving more than them. My parents have gladly stepped to the side and are on the sidelines cheering for me. There is nobody in my way. I'm around people, bro, like some of the girls that I know are so intelligent, so smart, and I get around them and I'm like, bro, I have the IQ of an acorn. I have the work ethic of someone who is a nepo baby, even though I'm not a nepo baby. I spend all my money on random shit. You know what I mean? I literally just bought this microphone for like $90. I really don't care. I went out to eat multiple times this week. I have like 2 Amazon orders that are on their way. I love spending money. I love making money too. And my mom loves all the little shit that I buy. Like, I just showed her this mic. I'm gonna send her this video. She's gonna watch all of it and she's gonna co-sign on everything because she too is an oldest daughter. She too understands that after you dedicate your life to pouring back into a family, that again, you did not lay on your back and fuck for, you get nothing for it. You get nothing raising the children of your parents. When they grow up, they will not remember you as a co-parent. They will only ever remember you and consider you a sibling. An annoying sibling at that. A sibling that bossed them around. A sibling that told them to go to bed. A sibling that told them and forced them to eat healthy. A sibling that made them cut off toxic friends. A sibling that was constantly controlling their life. A sibling that spanked them. A sibling that was frustrated. A sibling that was depressed. A sibling that was angry. A sibling that when they got older, they were rarely called, rarely touched back in with, and you're just gonna, end up broke and destitute, still living with your parents. Okay? That is my video. I think I'm gonna get canceled for it, but I really don't care. In a world of decentering men, in a world of, constant debates between men and women online, Muslim women and men online, I want to challenge family dynamics. I really don't care for female and male relationships. if you think you have high standards, if you think you have decent men, if you think you're really that bitch, if you really think that you're shaking shit and you're really that girl, I'd tell your mother, I'm keeping my check. And in this new upcoming school year, I dare you to buy back to school supplies for your younger siblings. Like the moment I heard a girl tell me that like she's gonna go buy school supplies for her younger siblings instead of spending the check that she earned on the things that she wanted, I like knew the world was over. Y'all talk about birds, y'all talk about bird brain bitches. In my book, the dumbest hoe is somebody who raises kids that's not theirs, right? You're helping out with school supplies, diapers, bottles, I don't know, all this stuff. And Hueda is gonna get pregnant next year. Matter of fact, she's gonna get pregnant in 2 weeks. And then that baby's gonna be your baby. Just like the last baby and the baby before that. And you're never gonna be free. You're gonna be stuck in that house with all those kids and Hueda. And your 20s are gonna disappear. And one day, you're gonna wake up 35, crusty, something burnt up and ate up. And you're gonna look back at your life and you're gonna see 0 savings, 0 trips, a couple mental psychiatric medications, maybe Lexapro. And your younger siblings are gonna wake up tea, small waists, clear skin, fat asses, like no shade. Like your younger siblings are gonna wake up traveling the world and you're gonna be a slan ahawar. For what? A cookie? A cookie from a group of people that voluntarily ate up your youth as long as you stayed single. But the more you poured into the family, the longer you stayed single. And the longer you stayed single, the longer you stayed a child. Right.